Hey everybody, it's Andrew Douglas Lane here at the Douglas Moon Fragrance channel, where I give my honest thoughts and opinions as I review fragrances from the cheaper end all the way to the niche, luxurious, and expensive. But today, instead of reviewing just one fragrance, I'm going to be actually telling you my thoughts and opinions as I go through and compare and contrast three of these bad boys, these beautiful, beautiful but loud and clunky bottles from Valentino. You've got Valentino's Coral Fantasy, Green Stravaganza, and Uomo Intense from the Born in Roma series. Overall, these are definitely far and away from all that Valentino has to offer. But I don't want to do too many when I'm comparing in one video. I know some channels, and even I in the past, have multiple, like maybe 10 or more like fragrances in one when you're comparing different types of fragrances. But at the end of the day, I don't want to get olfactory fatigue and wear my nose out, because my judgment and anyone's judgment, if they're smelling too many things at once, is going to start to falter about even being able to pick apart notes and even kind of also understand what vibe you're currently in. So I'm only going to be doing 3 of these babies, and we'll do more Valentino comparisons and other fragrances in the future. So let's get started. And by the way, before we get started, I just want to go ahead and explain. I know that I look like a strawberry cow. My face is very splotchy and I have eczema, so nothing I can do about that. It's extremely pollinated outside right now. I don't know if that's the proper term, but it's really bad, especially here in the American South. So my skin has decided it's just going to go absolutely crazy more than usual. But anyway, just wanted to say that nothing's wrong with me. I'm not dying. Let's get to it. I'm going to start this off with one that's my own personal bottle, and that would be Uomo Intense. And I say that because the Coral Fantasy and the Green Stravaganza, a good friend of mine and other fragrance lover from my job, Sam, he let me borrow those because Coral Fantasy and Green Stravaganza are his personal favorites, and he has those, and he's like, Coral Fantasy is like the first one that I even smelled on him that we even really talked about, and introduced me personally to Valentino because I'd never smelled any of them before. But this is an eau de parfum, where those are eau de toilette. I believe that other than like a more recent eau de parfum version of the Born in Roma Uomo, so it's not the Intense like this, which is a completely different profile, but it's same bottle, pink lettering, and even pink here at the bottom. That one is also an eau de parfum, I think, that came out within the past year, but most of them are eau de toilettes. So anyways, getting into this has a much more classic, mature fragrance. I did a full review of this one already, like months and months ago, but this one is like a iris. It says iris, vanilla, and leather. I can honestly say it really, really has a specific type of vanilla leather fragrance to it that's different than other ones. Like if you've smelled Tom Ford's Ombre Leather or Ombre Leather Parfum, which is some of my favorite fragrances, this is a little bit different. Almost like the way that this type of leather accord and the vanilla blends together. I said this in my original review. It has like a powdered sugar donut type of smell to me. Instead of like a super, I don't know, soothing or musky leather, there's something about the way they went for this. Whatever materials they blended together to go for it, and then putting it with that vanilla type of smell. It's more cakey, powder sugar ice cream type of confectionery type of scent. And to be honest with you, it's not really my style. Even though I have it, I almost never wear it. Not because I don't like it, but it's just not really me. It doesn't fit me, but I feel like this is something that a lot of people could enjoy. Yet, compared to the other more mass appealing style of other fragrances from the Valentino line, this one's definitely one that, as I've showed it to people, in comparison, they're not the biggest on this one, but overall, it's more of a mature, gentlemanly type of smell. It's one of the few from the Valentino line, my personal opinion, that fits that kind of bill. Because I think that even though these bottles, they tend to go for a more mature look, a lot of their fragrances are a little bit more youthful, whereas this particular one has that kind of like 40s and up type of smell to it. Even though I say like it has a delicious powdered sugar type of donut type of thing, it just overall carries like a more masculine, older gentleman type of smell. As always, their atomizers are pretty okay. Nothing crazy, if you can see it. It's just a light burst that comes out. But these fragrances in general, just to say ahead of time, are not the strongest in the world. They're like 4 sprays are not going to, even with the eau de parfum here, it's not going to last you all day long. But in and of itself, this is a beautiful fragrance. If you want to engage with leather fragrances for the first time, but you're a little bit nervous about the overall profile and you don't want something that's too bold leathery, I think that this kind of, with the iris and the vanilla, has like a bit of more like, it's more relaxed. You could enjoy it, and I think that I recommend it. And yet at the same time, overall, even though I recommend it for a lot of people to give it a shot, if you want to start engaging yourself with more mature and masculine type of fragrances from more mass appealing designer fragrances, I still am just going to have to give this I think I'm gonna give it right now at this point a 7 out of 10. because it's just not my style. That doesn't mean that it'll be that way for you. But in general, if I'm going to grab a Valentino, I don't think that this will be the first one that I'm going to go for because it's a little bit too cakey for me, but not in a way that I would like. It's sweet, but yet that leather gives it like a feel that I just don't personally gel with. But hey, this is subjective. So I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. Not really my thing. So next up, we're gonna talk about the green Stravaganza from Men, which is funny because I only recently smelled this for the first time. Like I smelled it on Sam at my job. Like I said, he let me borrow this, but I had not really experienced it on myself until borrowing this. And I can say that I really appreciate this one overall. Again, it's like all of their stuff is very much like a youthful type of vibe, but it says it's a fougere ambery fragrance and Calabrian bergamot at the heart with an addictive coffee accord. So that's really all the website seems to say from the official Valentino site. But it's interesting because this has just a very classic men's type of cologne feel, but not in a cheap way. I don't know if you know what I mean by this, but maybe you do, especially depending on where you grew up. But there's like a overall, when you're first getting introduced to cologne when you're young from your dad or whatever, or your brother, whoever, there's like this certain cologne fragrances like Davidoff Cool Waters and stuff, or Dracar Noir that you're introduced to, and they have this like, oh, that's what I think of when I think of men's cologne. Well, this is like a bright, fruity, but not cheap, but still not too luxurious, too expensive of a fragrance, too mature. It's just beautiful, vibrant. The way, like I can smell that little bit of undertone that it's supposed to be more musky, masculine with the coffee accord, but it's very light. It's like familiar with a little bit of distinctness. So this, again, like the rest of the line, is not something that I personally gravitate towards that I would wear, but in comparison to the first one that I did, the Uomo Intense, that's much more like overly mature. I think that anybody, especially younger gentlemen, younger men, and teenagers would also absolutely love this. And would make you feel like you're doing a step up from like your Walmart colognes or something like that. I think this is going to give you familiarity while also making you feel like you are standing out in some kind of way. So I know that sounds contradictory, but it just has something that's distinct and yet still familiar to it. So bright, that bergamot, as it starts to settle in the atmosphere, you're really getting that strong undertone of something a little bit more rich, a little bit more distinct. So not my type of style, but I will give this fragrance overall, just as the fragrance itself, probably about maybe an 8.5. That's my personal taste. Again, it's not my type of thing. You might like it a little bit more, but overall, I'm going to give it like a higher mark, and it's something anybody can enjoy. And as far as also understanding that this is an eau de toilette, just like the Coral Fantasy and a handful of others from the Valentino men's line. So you're not going to necessarily get 7 hours of longevity and stuff off of this. You're going to need to reapply this, but for what it's worth, the price of these is not so bad that you couldn't have it, keep it around, even like this little bottle, the 1.7, I believe this is. Yes, the 1.7 ounce bottle, you can keep this around with you and just reapply if you'd like to. So like anybody should know, eau de toilettes are going to be stronger at first, radiant blast, especially something with this with a little more citrus to it, but then they taper off as time goes on. Whereas eau de parfums, higher concentration of parfum oil, you're going to have better longevity, but a little bit more smoothness, especially at the start. So this right here, I definitely recommend this. It's mass appealing. Anybody can enjoy it. Bright, summery. You can wear it anytime you want to, but it's definitely like a spring and an into the summer, especially the dead of summer type of fragrance. So green extravaganza, 8.5 out of 10. And lastly, we're going to talk about the one that is, even again, I don't own it and I don't think that I'll be buying it. It's nice for me to smell on someone who also has it and loves it, so I can appreciate it in passing. And that would be Coral Fantasy by Valentino. Again, first one that I smelled of the line. So in that way, it has like an attractiveness and nostalgia for me, basically. But overall, I love the color. I love pink. Pink's one of my favorite colors. But in general, pink really fits the vibe of this. This is a actual genuinely unique fragrance. Again, all of these have some type of familiarity to them. They're not niche in any sense of the form necessarily. But for a designer fragrance, this does have something to it that's different and does stand out in a way that if you have this, it's radiant. For an eau de toilette, it actually has good lasting power. When Sam has put this on, it has lasted on him. I'd say like projection wise and a little bit of sillage, I would say this actually compared to a normal eau de toilette has had a lasting power for maybe about 7 hours. And maybe that's not going to happen for you, but when he has put this on, I've smelled it coming off his clothes at least. Definitely probably not the skin, but his clothes, it's really clung to it very well. and didn't walk away, weaken away like certain other ones, like when he's wearing green Stravaganza. After a handful of hours, it's basically gone unless I'm like super, super close to him. Yes, we hug. This one, on the other hand, I highly recommend this one. It is beautiful. It is unique to the core because the notes for this, I'm sorry that I didn't read them already, but like I just enjoy this as I'm smelling it off of the atomizer. It is red apple accord with sage and tobacco. And the apple is so sweet and beautiful and almost leaning feminine, and yet it's still distinctly masculine because of that tobacco, because of that sage. It's like an incredible, unique combination that still has that little bit of like, oh, this reminds me of something. Like this has a 90s classic man's fragrance feel, but that apple has blended with the sage so well. You don't get a strong, like the tobacco concept, the tobacco accord, I would say it really is like just an idea that's in there. When it's suggested, you can feel that it's there, but it's not bleeding through like a royal tobacco from Amouage or like the tobacco notes you get from Naxos by Xerjoff. This is more of like a, it's there, but it's accentuating the main fragrance. The apple and the sage are your top things that you're really getting and that carry through all the way. I'm not entirely sure, maybe perhaps just overall coloring that they wanted you to feel from this. Not really sure with apple and sage where they were getting the coral idea to call it that, but I like the name. The name Coral Fantasy, it's fun, it's different. In a way, they've managed to take something that maybe would have been a bit more springtime in a meadow type of smell and made you kind of shift towards thinking of it as a beachy type of vibe. And that is what this is. It could go either way. It has like a delicious, but yet comforting fabric softener type of scent, and yet not in like a cheap way. So as you can tell, I love this one. It's very strong, very radiant. Coral Fantasy is just, it's different. So compared to the other ones that I've smelled and even ones that I haven't reviewed yet from the Valentino line, this particular one is to me the best that you're going to get. I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10, like not in the way I would normally rate things in my other videos. Like I wouldn't personally own this only because it's something I've connected to someone else. If I hadn't known anybody else who had this, I might want to add it to my collection. But I'm just that kind of person. Not that I don't want to wear things other people have. I love sharing fragrances with people. It's just that because I attach this to someone else, I don't want to try to make it mine. And maybe it wouldn't fit me that way. So maybe somebody else understands what I mean by that. But this one is just so amazing. I recommend anybody can get this. Like the price, I'm sorry that I haven't read prices for this, but it's saying $100 to $130, I guess, depending on the size that you get. Yeah, so most places that you will receive this, yeah, you can get $85 actually for the 1.7 at Macy's. So I'm seeing like, yeah, 100, 130 along those lines for like the 3.4. It's not a bad price for what it is and how strong it is, even though it's an eau de toilette. Forgive me. It's just a gorgeous fragrance. Again, the red apple accord, the clary sage, or excuse me, the sage, not clary sage, the red apple accord, the sage, and the tobacco. It's just extremely gorgeous. You're in your 20s, early 30s, going out on a date, hanging out with your friends for a day at the beach, sunset, wherever you are, or even in the woods. It doesn't matter. This is something you could wear anywhere, anytime. You could even wear this during the fall, honestly, because that under bit of like maturity from the sage and the tobacco, you could just wear this anytime you want to. So I know I've rambled, I've babbled. This might not have been the most professional video in the world, but I really was just trying to get through these and enjoy them and talk about them in a way and give them my honest thoughts instead of trying to think a little too much about it. But this one, Coral Fantasy, is just something special. So it's filled this room up compared to even the other ones. It's really filled this room up. It's staying and not going away, not dissipating. And I think it's just absolutely beautiful. So 10 out of 10 overall between the rest of the Valentino line that I've done so far. So to rehash, we're going to talk about Green Stravaganza, Uomo Intense, and then Coral Fantasy. Again, I think I did a 7.5 for the Uomo Intense. That, again, in case you forgot, was your vanilla, iris, and leather. And then you've got Calabrian bergamot with, I actually don't remember what the other undernote of this was, but overall, you've got this beautiful, beautiful green. I love green, from the Green Stravaganza from him, and then Coral Fantasy. So overall, I'm going to completely state that this is probably the best. If you're trying to get a Valentino fragrance, go for Coral Fantasy. Unique, distinct, gorgeous, staying power. In general, honestly, even though this is the Eau de Parfum, the Uomo Intense, this competes with longevity and projection in an even more beautiful and better way. So Coral Fantasy is the winner for today's video, and I will be doing more of these in the future. But thank you so much for watching. If you have, anybody is welcome to my videos anytime. check out the rest of my actual like single fragrance reviews. And thank you guys so much recently for the 80,000 subscribers, almost to 90,000 subscribers. I don't know how this is happening. Compared to like my views and stuff like that, it seems like people, especially I see I got a lot of people from India, a lot of people from like the Middle East have been watching. Thank you so much for watching. Like anybody around the world is welcome here on my videos, and I love you guys. God bless each and every one of you, no matter who you are, where you're from, or what you believe. Anybody's always welcome in my videos, and to leave me your thoughts, your critiques, whatever. Not every video is made equal. Not every video is the same. I'm in different moods, different days, but I try to keep my channel of just me being honest, sharing my thoughts and my opinions and just how I feel. And if things change, if my opinions change on something, I want to be honest and open and rehash stuff and talk about other things in the future. So everybody's always welcome here. Tell me what you want to see me review. Tell me your favorite fragrances in general and why you love them, or how you disagree with me. And that's okay if you do, because again, fragrance is art and art is subjective. So I'm Andrew Douglas Lane. This is the Douglas Moon Fragrance channel. Please like, please subscribe, share your thoughts, and share the video if you'd like to wherever you would like to. And tell me again what you'd like to see me do next time. So again, got some of the Valentino line, Green Stravaganza from him, Coral Fantasy, and Uomo Intense. Coral Fantasy was today's winner. And I thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.